Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've used wood for my builds, but we've received a really nice selection of iron wood recently. So today I'm gonna use wood in this 60p, and I might have gone a bit over the top. We'll see if it all fits. So, well, as you can see, I've pre-selected some hardscape. This one caught my attention because it fills up front space really well. Obviously, I don't want it to be too close to the glass to keep maintenance an option. About there, my hand fits, so this should be fine. On the left side, I don't want to leave so much room, and it's only just one spot almost touching the glass, but I want to be as close as possible to have this full effect on the aquarium, that it's filled with hardscape. There's a third piece, so I don't remember how it stood. That's acceptable for maintenance. What do you guys think? This piece of wood is too much towards the back. I need this frontal piece of it, but from about here to the back, it doesn't add anything to the scape, but it takes up a lot of space from planting. This tool belongs to Balázs, so I think I shouldn't use it, should I? He's gonna be cross. This has actually always been an issue for us, modifying ironwood to our scapes, because it's quite difficult to cut. This is gonna take a while. I got help. I can start gluing this one because this one doesn't depend on the other side. For this, I'm gonna need to wait for the final position of the wood that Lori just took for me to stop my suffering and help me out. Glue and paper towel, just the usual stuff. Usually we use these small bits rolled, but now I'm gonna try to glue all this. Each finger is in place? Yeah. Thank you. Now, okay, so this whole backside is flat, so it takes up much less space from the back of the tank. I think I should call Brian from Seachem to sponsor this build, because we're gonna need an insane amount of Purigen. Purigen is a funny thing. If you look at the original recommendation, how much to use from Seachem, they say that 100 milliliters is for 400 liters of water. What we usually say for aquascaping is 100 milliliters for 100 liters. In this case, bunch and bunch of ironwood, which is gonna make the water really brown, like tea brown. I think we're gonna go with about 200 ml for the 60 liters. I think we have an Eheim Professional 4 350 filter underneath this tank. Some people are gonna say that's overkill for 60p. But I say I have space for Purigen besides the biological media that I need. We usually don't talk about this aspect of using bigger filters, that you always have space in that filter if you need any additional filter media without compromising your biological filtration. Hopefully, I'm making this stay. Oh.
Are you high already?
No, I don't think this stuff makes you high. So it only has negative aspects. But the positive is it holds the hardscape. So, okay, that's stable and still curing. Actually, I'm a bit surprised that none of our glasses have broken during this because of the heat. So now the one that we made flat on the back. Yes, it like almost connects with the other piece. Here's down here as well. I also have a few pieces of sinker wood, which I'm gonna use for details on the scape. Okay, so it should stay like this. I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. And now this is sturdy enough so I can go on the other side. And actually this is gonna be the final piece of the hardscape itself. I actually love it like this, but I think this is, yeah, it's out of the scape. My only problem is that they are almost touching the two sides. Maybe like this, and then they don't touch. This is the hardscape about done. Decided to actually leave the middle quite open. We have an ADA light screen on the back of this tank. So having that open area, I'm gonna have some stem plants crawling in with the lit background. It just makes sense to leave it open, especially with how much hardscape there is in the front anyway. I'm gonna use these to raise the bottom of the tank underneath the sand basically, because the sand wouldn't stand the way I want it to. I'm going to use ADA Power Sand in the back on the bottom for the stem plants, and I actually have some long crypts. I'm going to fill the power sand in the corners, then I'm going to fill some soil and then do the rest. So I'm going to use the additives from the Amazonia version 2 as well, throw them down on top of the power sand. In the front area, I'm going to have both soil and sand. I don't want a full clean sand in the front because this is too much for this. I would lose too much space without plants. I'm going to use a mix of sands, and the main one is going to be La Plata. In the middle, I definitely want to bring up like a pathway of sand. I'm going to use some of the new ADA decoration lineup to make it a bit more special. Kumu? How do you spell this? One is a sand, but it's slightly bigger pieces and a bit different color, so I think it's good for details. It looks funny now, but it's going to look much better once the plants are in. And the other one is more like gravel, bit similar to ADA Aqua Gravel, but lighter in color, so it's closer to the light colored sand. I'm going to use this to divide the sand and the soil, because I don't want it to get mixed, especially once we introduce algae eaters. I think they work quite well in color now, all this together. You don't even know that I went away, but I'm back. We had lunch, I got coffee, and I have my spraying stuff, so we can start planting. We have a bunch of plants, basically leftovers from the previous setup in this aquarium, so I have those. I have a lot of moss, which we took from other aquariums as well. I'm going to start with the carpet. Quickly, I just grabbed 2 pads of Liliopsis brasiliensis as a carpet because of lighting issues. In the front, there's not going to be too much light, and this works quite well in shadow areas as well. We're going to just go as we can. No planning, just planting. That's cheesy, isn't it? That sounded stupid. I'm going to try to plant dense because Liliopsis brasiliensis is really slow. I don't want this tank to look empty for long, especially considering that I'm going to use plants from the previous setup which are already developed. So I'm going to go ahead and plant Cryptocoryne parva in the very dark spots. I have some Blixa japonica. I'm going to start going backwards with it by the glass. It's a really nice plant in the reflections as well. It's not going to turn red this time because it won't get so much light down here. You can see I don't plant it that dense because once it starts growing, it just grows on itself. So this is 3 plants on its own. That's how it grows in the soil. So I left some space between the ones I planted, so there's room for more. I love using old plants because they're just so much easier to plant than the ones coming fresh. I'm going to use this to emphasize this arch. Plant these one by one because they don't really fit here anyway. And this is how Master Luca taught me to do. Obviously he knows what he's doing. Cryptocarine Balancé, which takes ages to grow this long. It's still gonna grow higher, so it's gonna come out behind the big wood. So I have a mixture of small leaf Danubiuses, few bits of Minicoin, and bunch of different types of Bucephalandra. This is a new plant from Tropica. It's the Bucephalandra Sordidula Blue. So I'm guessing bluish tints, but the leaves are definitely different from the rest of our Bucephalandras. It's much more round. How is this plant here? It wanted to come in here, I bet. The scent part, it got a bit bigger than I wanted. I don't know how it happened because I did it, but now it's too big. So I want to break it up with the stones and the moss on the stones. And now I've got some gluing to do once again, but without the smell. I'm going with the gel type of gluing plants. And now that big open part is not that big anymore. I have all the physidens left, which is going to go on the wood. When you glue these type of mosses, for the first few weeks they look quite funny because they're just all crammed in there. Once they start growing fresh leaves, it's going to turn very natural. That's it for this build. Quite happy with the results, actually stating that I've built with wood once again. I don't hate using wood, I just don't like it that much as I do rocks. Please let me know what you think about this build. I'm gonna start thinking about fish and shrimps to put in here. I believe some Neocardinas, red sakuras, would fit this layout perfectly. And for the fish, you guys made me use the Galaxy Rasboras and the Minimalist Iwagumi. Now this would be perfect for them. But I can't have them in two tanks at the same time. You guys are going to see it in a few seconds what I chose in the end. So thank you for joining me and see you next time. Goodbye.